of electronics, information technology, software, communication, optics, electromagnetics, biomedical equipments. He also regularly advises clients on continuous issues related to patentability, freedom to operate, due diligence, besides conducting workshop on IP and patents. So now I would request Professor Ritika ma'am to enhance us with some glorious words and welcome Mr. Mayank Sood. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Pranav. A very good morning to one and all present here on this virtual platform. I, Professor Ritika Rathore from Operations Department and a member of IIC Council of this college. On my personal behalf and on behalf of the entire management department of ITS, would like to welcome our distinguished speaker, Mr. Mayank Sood, to this special session on Horizons of Intellectual Property Rights, which is organized under IIC chapter of ITS. This topic of IPR, as we all know, is very relevant to the current scenario of entrepreneurship and startups, and it's a must learn for all the future managers. This is such a vast and diverse topic and with such plethora of learnings that I find myself very grateful to be a part of this enriching session. Now, without taking much time, because I know Sood sir is in short of time here, I would like to invite Mr. Sood to please take over the session and enlighten our audience. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ritika, and thank you, Pranav. And thanks to the organizing committee for having me here to present this session to PGDM and MBA students. I think this session is of very much importance to all the students who are the participants here, and not only them but other fields of other students as well. And I won't like to waste much time. Introduction has been given, and I think I can directly jump onto the topic. So I share my screen and I can share the presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Participants can share screen. You can also do that.
Okay. Yeah. So is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And just a second. I think I'm not able to see any video here. Okay. Yeah. So this session is mainly I'll be talking about horizons of intellectual property rights, and I would like the students to make use of the chat window. Whenever I ask questions, they can just type in yes and no. I'll be not asking many questions, but just to know how much students here are aware of the subject and to gauge their knowledge, I'll be just checking, and I'll want to keep this session very engaging. And you can make use of the chat window just to type the answers you have, yes and no. And so I'll start with the session then. So as you all know, intellectual property rights or intellectual property is a very, very important topic nowadays. With all the talks about entrepreneurship and startups. And not only that, it has been there, intellectual property has been there since almost time immemorial. Mankind has been doing inventions and progressing and building up this world with all the intellectual property, with all the inventions they have come up. So, and nowadays we see in this modern world that more and more inventions are coming up, more and more intellectual property is there. We see we are all surrounded by intellectual property. While we sit on our laptops, on our mobiles, we are surrounded by intellectual property. We are each moment, each second, we are engaging with some kind of intellectual property. So it is that important to understand what it is and what it means to us as students. How we can utilize this intellectual property in our career going forward, when we will become entrepreneurs, or we will have our own startup, have our own company, or even work in some other company. How this will be an important factor for us to build our career. So it is very important to know what are intellectual property rights. So let me begin with asking a question here. So you can type in the name of the person if you know. So who said this? My view is there's no bad time to innovate. You can make use of the chat window, and so any names come to your mind, you can make use of the chat window. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, Jeff Bezos. I think there are two people who have replied, Shireen and Ashwin. So this was said by Jeff Bezos, and as everyone knows, Amazon, he's the CEO of Amazon, and I think recently he quit. So he's talked a lot about what is the importance of innovation in our day-to-day lives, and as people being entrepreneurs, how it becomes even more important to innovate on a daily basis. And Amazon has become, or any other company nowadays, it has become so big only because they have been able to innovate on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month, on a week-to-week basis. So that is how important innovation is. That is how important intellectual property is. So this is the scope of the presentation. I'll be covering what is intellectual property. What do we actually mean by intellectual property? Why is intellectual property so important? Forms of IPR. What are the various forms of intellectual property rights? Some cases, just to keep the session very engaging, and a small quiz in the end. So what is intellectual property? So basically, intellectual property is a business asset. It's like real estate, like someone owns a piece of land, physical land, like someone owns a house. Same way, intellectual property is also a business asset. You can use, you can sell, you can copy, you can not copy, sorry. You can sell, you can give it on lease, you can give it on license. You can do all that with intellectual property, what you can do with a piece of land. The only thing is that a piece of land or a house may be, physical assets, but these are non-tangible assets. Mostly, they could be tangible as well. We'll be talking about what are the various forms of IPR when we come to them. So IPR, again, it has to be developed, maintained, upgraded, protected, used to realize value. We have to use them to realize the value. And why is intellectual property important? As we see on our screens, there is a very small fish going to be eaten by a bigger shark, which is even going to be eaten by a bigger shark. So as we understand, in this world, there are different companies of different nature. So if some company, for example, doesn't have any intellectual property, we can say that it doesn't have any teeth, and sooner or later it's going to be taken over by a bigger company. That is one of the ways we can say that, how we can say that the intellectual property becomes important. In another example, even if a smaller company has intellectual property, it can be posing a threat to a bigger company who doesn't have any intellectual property or teeth here, as it is clear from the figure. So these are the few important statements made by a couple of people. One is John Stewart, chairman of Quaker. He said, if this business were split up, I would give you the land and bricks and mortar, and I would take the brands and trademarks, and I would fare better than you. In another statement, president of the Coca-Cola company, as we know, Coca-Cola company is 19th century company, invented way back in somewhere in 1800s. And the word Coca-Cola itself is so old, it's now almost 120 or 130 years old. It's been a trademark for that company standing since then. So the president said, if each building, factory, office, car, truck owned would burn down in a moment, the company could get back to operational rebuilding and buying everything lost in 1 year due to the value and profit generated by its intellectual property, namely the income generated by its trademarks, franchise contracts, patents, and licenses, etc. So value of intellectual property can be way more than the value of the physical assets that a company is holding. Now, let us come to the various forms of IPR or various forms of IP. So as we see the various forms of IP, this is one umbrella in which we can discuss all the various forms of IP. We keep hearing these words in our lives, day-to-day lives. These words of patents, trademarks, designs, copyrights, trade secrets, geographical indications, plant variety protection. So as far as India is concerned, India does have a law on each of them except the trade secret part, because we will come to that, why there is no law on trade secrets. So India as a country has a statute, has a law on each of these forms of intellectual property. All these forms of intellectual property are distinct from each other. They do not overlap, right? We will come to that as to what do we mean by each of them. So it's not only India, it's across the world that several countries have their own laws with respect to each of these respective forms of IP. And there are international treaties by which govern as to how several countries, how different countries who are signatory to those international treaties, how they can trade between themselves when it comes to these forms of IP. How Indians can file a patent in outside countries, or how people in outside countries can file patent in India. So those are all governed by international treaties, which many countries are signatory to. And that is how intellectual property not only helps you in doing your business in India, but also helps you in doing business outside India. So let us discuss about patents. So how many of you are well aware of what are patents? Can you just type in a yes in your chat window? Yeah, quickly. Yeah, I think you can be more quicker than that. Yeah. Okay, anyways, I take it, you guys have somewhat heard the word patents, or I'll make things more clearer. So what do we mean by patents? On the right-hand side, there is a certificate by the United States of America. That is the kind of certificate you get when you register your invention, or when your invention gets registered as a patent. So that is the kind of certificate. Similar is the kind of certificate that we get in India. you can call it that it is somewhat similar to a registration of a property, of, for example, of a land, or or any other physical asset that you have, or your car registry or something similar. So this is a certificate which tells you that you have a patent on your invention. And what does a patent do to your invention? So first of all, patent is given for an invention. You invent something, you get a patent for it. And what can you invent? You can invent so many things. You can invent a molecule in a chemistry lab. You can invent a new program for a mobile phone. How does it function? There are so many things in your mobile phone that you see have actually a patent. The sensor, there are several sensors in the mobile phone, how they function, what are those sensors, the microphone, the camera, you see. And just let's take the example of just a camera in the mobile phone, how advanced it has become. We all know that, first the phone came, then someone put a camera in the phone. Earlier, it used to be a VGA camera. It used to be of certain very, very low pixel value. And then slowly and slowly, the pixel value kept on enhancing. And now we see that there are 48 megapixel cameras. The image has become so sharp. It is better, giving you better pictures than even a camera used to give earlier. So how that has happened? That has happened because there is so much advancement. People have been coming with so many improvements just in the camera of a mobile phone. You talk of a battery of a mobile phone. Earlier, mobile phones used to be bulkier. Why they were bulkier? Because of the battery that goes into the mobile phone. You must have heard or seen the Motorola phone, which came in 1990s. They were so bulky, to start with. All the Nokia phones that came in, they were so bulky. They used to have a very thick battery. But now, with the inventions coming up in the battery technology, the batteries are becoming so slim. The lithium-ion battery that goes into the phone, that is becoming so slim. And the phone is earlier the phones used to have just two functions, just to send, just to make a voice call or send an SMS. But later on, there were so many apps developed. There were smartphones coming up, and then so the battery had to cater to so many functions which the phone provides. And then you saw the advent of this fast charging mechanism, right? Then you saw there's so many sensors in the phone. You tilt the phone, the screen tilts. How does that happen? Or you can do video calling. Earlier, we could never imagine we would be able to do video calling over a phone. But now it is just a click of a button. You can video call anyone. And how is that happening? That is all happening because there are people who are doing inventions in these areas. I, on a day-to-day basis, deal with these inventions. That is my job. And that is, talking to inventors all across the world, figuring out what the invention is, and then filing it before the patent office and helping them get this kind of a registration certificate that is there. So what does an invention actually do? Why will someone invent? It gives the inventor a monopoly right. And not only the inventor. So when the inventor is part of a company, it gives the company a monopoly right. Who grants the monopoly right? It is granted by the government. Why the government would grant a monopoly right? Because the inventor is going to file it before the government or the office. We normally call it the intellectual property office. And the inventor gives away the disclosure to the public domain. So once we make the application for a patent, once the inventor makes the application for a patent to the government, the invention is disclosed to the public in certain period of time. And the rights are also granted for a certain period of time. For patents, the period of rights for which the rights are there with the inventor or the applicant, whosoever it may be, the rights are there for a period of 20 years. So for 20 years, the applicant of the patent can enjoy the right, can enjoy the monopoly, and can stop others from using without his consent. So that is why we say it's a negative right, because it is a right which gives someone, by which someone can stop others from using it. It's again a territorial right. Why we say territorial? Because when you get a patent in India, you get a right only in India to practice that patent. You don't get a right outside India, so you are restricted to that Indian territory. It's again a statutory right, given by the law. And again, a patent is something to encourage innovation. That is why we see that, there have been thousands and thousands of patents coming in mobile phone technology. There are so many other things that we see. Nowadays, we see more and more patents coming in vaccine technologies. So all those vaccines which are coming across the world, people are wanting to get a patent on them. They're filing for patents across the world for different vaccine technologies. So it could be pharma, it could be a mechanical domain, it could be construction, it could be civil, it could be electrical, it could be your phones, it could be your laptops, it could be your TVs, it could be your fridge. And all those things you talk about, patents are everywhere. And people have been improving upon the earlier patents, filing new patents, getting patents, and that is how the innovation is itself becoming what we see today. It's also one of the means to encourage industrial growth. Let us see another form of IP, which is called trademarks. Again, trademarks we see all around us on a day-to-day basis. So what actually are trademarks? They are distinctive symbols, signs, or logos that help consumer to distinguish between competing goods or services. So as on the right-hand side, there are three trademarks. And as you can see, I think they are Microsoft, Pepsi, and Tata, right? So they help the consumers to distinguish or to identify which company it belongs to. Whenever we see the Pepsi logo, it reminds us of the name Pepsi. We don't have to read something to understand, oh, this belongs to Pepsi. Just the logo is sufficient, or the symbol is sufficient, or the trade name is sufficient to identify. A trade name is the name of an enterprise which individualizes the enterprise in consumers' mind. So it's so simple to understand that, it is so something which consumer can identify the company with. It is not linked to quality. There's no need to link the trademark to a quality. But inherently, whenever a consumer sees a trademark, he associates in his mind the trademark and imparts a certain quality with it. For example, if you see Pepsi, you would say, oh, it has certain quality. Or whenever you see Microsoft, you would say, oh, Microsoft is the best when it comes to computers, or when it comes to laptops or Windows. So there can be three, these are again examples of trademarks. And there are majorly three types of trademarks, you can say. One are called registered marks. Then there are, when you put a TM symbol on the side of a name, and when you have a service mark. So what is a registered mark? So trademark again follows a process of registration. One has to, you may have your trademark, you may have it as unregistered. That's no problem, but it's always helps to get it registered, because someone else can start using your trademark after you have been in the business for 3-4 years, and you all are students of MBAs, PGDM. Tomorrow down the line, you'll want to have your own business, and you may want to have it name with your business. So it's very important to, mark my words, it's very important to have a very, very unique name for your business. And always go for a name which doesn't have any meaning. For example, Pepsi. It doesn't have any meaning. It's very unique. It's a coined name, right? So it's very important to have a trademark or a trade name which doesn't have any meaning actually. People actually do that. They club names, two names, or they reverse the name of something, and then they come up with a coined name to impart that name to their business. For example, Amazon. Amazon is a river somewhere in South America. It doesn't have anything to do with the business of Amazon, right? So it's again not a coined name, but something which is not at all related to the business they do. They started with books and then they are now into everything, all areas of e-commerce. So it's very important to have a trade name. Everyone has a trade name. Even a small shop owner, grocery shop owner, they have a trademark. Or even a small thela wala, he will have some kind of a name for his thela. So it's very important as to what name you choose for your business. And it's very important to get it registered. Why one should get it registered? Because you can stop anyone from using the same name. Because down the line, 4 or 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you are going to have some goodwill with your name, associated with your name. And that goodwill will help you bring more business into it. And people will identify you with your trademark, trade name. So you would not want that anyone else takes the goodwill by using that name. So it's very important to get it registered. And here are some examples, why the symbol R is there. So once the trademark is registered, you can impart a symbol R next to the trademark. And while there's a registration process is going on, a symbol TM can be imparted along the name. Service marks are for services. Wherever some service industry is there, their service marks are there. So this is a bit about trademarks. Now let us talk a bit of designs. I'll also keep a watch on the time. I think the time given to me is not much. So, I'm sorry if I'm rushing a bit. So if we talk of designs, we are again, surrounded by designs. There's so many things which are registered, which have a registered design. So anything you see, a physical object, and the ornament or aesthetics aspect of an article that enhances visual appeal and differentiates the product. So that is what a design is. So in other words, how a particular object appears to the eye, how it is aesthetically different, and how it enhances the appeal of an object is what a design is. For example, this chair or this jar, they all are a type of design. Or this Coca-Cola bottle. So one can go and register a shape of a Coca-Cola bottle or a Pepsi bottle. They all can be registered as designs. And people identify these shapes with certain products. The Coca-Cola bottle, you don't see Coca-Cola bottle being used by any other soda drink, right? So it is very important to impart or protect your designs. Even there are so many vehicles or so many cars on the road, they all have designs protected for. So not only for the whole shape of the car, they may have designs protected for the grille, which is there in the front, or they may have designs protected for the shape of the headlights or the tail lights. They all are protected under designs. And so example, here are 3D features of a shape or surface as of a perfume bottle, 2D patterns of lines. Even the 2D patterns on a, you see articles of clothing, there's so many designers who come up with several articles of clothing. They are all protectable under Designs Act as designs. For designs, total, again, it's there is a term allocated to it. For trademarks, it is, I believe, 10 years. And it can be always renewed for 10 years and 10 years again and again. For designs, it's total of 10 years, and one can, enhance that term by 5 years. Then the next form of IP that we see around us is copyright. Copyright is not the right to copy something, but the copyright is the right to stop anyone from copying. Many people say, when they hear the term copyright, is it something to do with copying? Yes, it is to do something with copying, but stopping the copy. When we make photocopies of the books in our engineering or in our MBAs, so that may be infringing the rights of the copyright owner, and they can stop us from doing that. Yeah, when we make copies of the CDs or any movies that are there available on a CD, VCD, earlier DVD now, or even when we download them in an inauthentic way through torrent, that can amount to copyright infringement. So what does a copyright do? Copyright actually helps the author in protecting his original work. And what kind of work can be protected under copyright? It could be literary, dramatic, musical, artistic work. So all those works are, even photographic images, they can all be a part of copyright. And you see so many books around, and their world is full of copyrights. This presentation which I'm giving here can be protected under copyright. And term of copyright is quite huge. It is actually the author's whole life plus 60 more years after his life. So a book written somewhere in, let's say, late 1800s could still have some kind of protection today. If the author died less than 60 years from now. So it could still be having the copyright, and his lineage, his descendants, his grandkids could be enjoying whatever the royalties they get from those selling of those books. Recently, I'll give you one example. So I think we all know Amitabh Bachchan. His father, Harivansh Rai Bachchan, he died somewhere in early 2000s. And he has written so many books and poems. So Mr. Amitabh Bachchan said that, I would want my children to enjoy those rights, and those rights no one can take them from us. But it didn't have to say that, because the term of copyright is actually the author's life. So till the time he lives, plus 60 more years, till the time maybe Abhishek Bachchan lives. So that is how long, the legacy of Harivansh Rai Bachchan will remain with the family, and they will get to enjoy the rights. This is another new, I can say, a new type of intellectual property rights. We didn't see these in earlier times. Patents and trademark and copyright have been there since decades. Even patents and copyright have been there since century, and even trademarks. In India, patent law was there in 1912, and even there was something on patent law even in the 1850s. So how that old is patent law even in India? But geographical indications is one of the newer fields of intellectual property rights. And how is geographical indication different? What is protected under geographical indication? So as the word, geography comes in there. So it has something to do with geographical origin. So many goods possess their peculiar properties because of their geographical origin. In short, it is called GI. GI is the best method to indicate geographic origin of goods and services. Now, there are many agriculture products, foodstuffs, wines and spirits. They owe their special quality to reputation to their geographical place of growing or processing. We all eat basmati rice, right? So basmati rice is again uh, uh, having a GI tag to it, having a geographical indication tag to it. It is registered as a geographical indication. And basmati comes from the Indo-Gangetic plain in India. It doesn't come from the south of India, or it doesn't come from the eastern states of India, northeastern states of India. It mainly comes from the Indo-Gangetic plain. And it's the quality of the soil, or it's the quality of the water that goes in to impart that particular property of giving a fragrance or that long grain to that kind of rice, uh, and that is how it is protected. You have heard about Darjeeling tea. Then there are Tirupati laddus. Then there is Mathura peda. And then in France, you have, champagne that comes from a particular place called Champagne. So if any other place is coming up with the champagne, it is not really a champagne. Maybe they are making use of someone else's GI, which is not right. Someone else, some other place selling basmati rice, or it may be coming from South India, someone selling the rice saying that this is basmati rice, or some other country coming up with basmati rice. They could be stopped from doing that. A case can be filed against them in the court. Same way is with the saris, the Banarasi sari, or the Pochampalli sari, or the Kanjivaram sari. They are all protected by their GI. The Kullu shawl that you see in Himachal, that is again protected by GI. So there are so many, geographical indications nowadays. You will see GI tag on the things which are protected by GI. So try to identify whenever you buy a piece of shawl from Kullu, you will see a GI tag. So that will be the authentic one and not the others. There's another type of newer type of IP. This is called Plant Variety Act. So several new varieties of plants can be protected as under this act, and they should, actually what makes them a newer plant variety could be these three characteristics, like distinctiveness, uniformity, stability. For example, nowadays people come up with different colors of roses which are not natural. Yeah, and they could be coming up with different variety of a plant which is done after certain making changes in the composition or the cellular composition of the thing, and which imparts a certain distinctive characteristic to the plant, and it has to qualify all these three characteristics to get the variety registered. So it is very useful for people who are farmers or people who are working in this agriculture industry, to have this kind of act. And these people who come up with these new varieties, they can get the rights because they have worked over these for coming up with these new varieties, so they can get those rights and they can enjoy the rights. Another type of intellectual property, we don't hear about this a lot, but this is there, and it is about protection of integrated circuit layout design. So nowadays, all over mobile phones, laptops, or any other electronic circuit, they have this kind of a integrated circuit, the IC, the chip that we see here. And these chips are very, very difficult to manufacture. It's only few companies in the world which can come up with very, very small integrated circuits. And the layout is very important, very critical factor, which determines how small the chip can be made. So it's so important that there is a separate provision in law, separate act, which helps someone to get the rights over this. Yeah, I'll try to, I think there are not many slides left, and I'll discuss some cases as well. Trade secrets. So something when the invention is not patentable or patent protection is limited to 20 years, but the secret can be kept for a longer period of time, or when it is difficult to reverse engineer. For example, the formula of Coca-Cola. No one till date knows what goes into Coca-Cola actually and to impart that kind of taste or texture to it. And it is known that only 2 people at a time know what goes into making a Coca-Cola. So that is how it is a trade secret till date, kept till date for more than 120 years. And that is how they've been able to, survive, and not only survive but flourish. IP portfolio, talking of IP portfolio, a company could have, all these different types of IP in the IP portfolio, and it's very important. And there's so many forms of IP that we see in the mobile phone, right? For trademarks, we see the name Nokia, N95, Symbian, Java. These are all protected under trademarks. What is protected under patents is something to do with data processing, semiconductors, chemicals. What is protected under copyrights? It could be software code, instruction manual, ringtones, designs. It could be overall shape of the phone, arrangement of buttons on the display, and three-dimensional waveform of the buttons, and all that could be protected in some different forms of IP. So here are some cases, these cases actually happened, and all these are trademark cases. I have given trademark cases here because they are easier to understand. So we have all, seen this or had this drink, 7-Up. There was a company who came up with this fast bottling company. They came up with a drink called 11-Up. And the case was filed by 7-Up. 7-Up is owned by PepsiCo. PepsiCo filed a case against this company, and they were restrained from using the mark 11-Up with the red ball device. So there is a red ball within the 11-Up as same is there in the 7-Up, right? They were restrained. They were stopped from using this kind of a mark. Cheetos, right? You see another similar name, Cheetos. So again, the defendants were restrained from using this mark. Again, Cheetos is owned by PepsiCo. Gap. Gap is the clothing brand, and again, someone used Gap in, and they were stopped from using DK Srinivas. They were stopped from using the mark Gap in relation to garments. Now, Hershey's, it's a famous chocolate brand, and so the defendant SP Singh, he was using Hershey's for his selling his salty snacks. Again, a case was filed by the Hershey company, and they were stopped from using the salted snacks. Kurkure, again owned by PepsiCo, and someone had almost a similar packaging, as you can see, and normal consumer would not, notice so much. They would buy Kekure, and they would think that it is Kurkure. Same is with the beverage bottles or the mineral water bottles. Bisleri ka Bilzeri kar diya, and all those things are there. So one has to be very careful to see what the thing actually is, because in our minds we identify these brands and impart certain quality in our minds. So again, the RS products Kekure was stopped from using the mark Kekure. This is one of the tractors, John Deere. They have a certain color combination, the yellow and the green, that was protected under trademark, and this person, he was using the same color combination. They were stopped from using the combination. This is one of the lighters that comes in the market, Zippo lighter. And another company, Anil Mulchandani and others, they were manufacturing a lighter with the same shape So people could actually be confused, and they were again stopped from using the same shape lighter. Hitachi is a very, very well-known brand when it comes to electronic goods. And these defendants, Ajay Kumar Agarwal, they were using the name Hitachi. And they had name in their corporation called Hitachi Electronics Private Limited, just like Hitachi Electronics Private Limited. They were restrained from using because it sounds similar and even spellings are somewhat similar. This Honda was being used on a pressure cooker. And the court observed that it has acquired distinctiveness and goodwill in the mark Honda. So the defendants were again stopped from using the mark. Sony, we see Sony being used on lungis here. So someone selling the lungis by the brand Sony. And Sony is a very, very well-known brand in India. It's a Japanese brand. And the defendants, Mahalakshmi Textile Mills, they were again stopped from using the Sony brand on lungis. So these are all the examples as to how, you know, all these different brands, they are protected under their under trademarks, how several other people were using the same. So it's also very important for us as students to know that when we go to do our business, we don't use a name, we don't use someone else's name, right? That is also very important, because imagine a scenario, we have our own business and it's been 4 or 5 years, we don't even know that there is some company in the world existing and it has a trademark for that, and we are already there for 4 or 5 years in the business. Now that company, because they are there in since 50 years, we are not aware of them, they can come and stop us from using the name altogether. So it's very important, so not only to have a name for our business, but to also do certain due diligence that no one else is using that name, right? So let's, you know, a bit of quiz for you all here. I understand that it was a very, very quick presentation, and hope you could understand somewhat about what is IP, what is intellectual property, what are different forms of IP. So just a bit quick quiz for you, and you can use the chat window to answer. So the quiz goes like this. So can you identify the logo? Please type in your answers in the chat box. Yeah, let's all be quick then. So I'm asking the company's name. Yeah, so it's very simple. We see all these companies, you know, all around us. Great. So we all know our logos. That's very good to see. Wonderful. So let me take you.
But McDonald's color combination is red now.
Just a second. Yeah, I think they have also protected the yellow one, so you can protect. You can have different colors, and sometimes, you know, colors do not make any difference.
So the M logo is yellow color only. The red is the base, and the M logo is the yellow color.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Identify possible type of IP. What do you think this? Which type of IP? Which form of IP is this? Patent. Are you sure this is a patent? So patent has to be an invention. So this would be a trademark, right? Woodland is known as a trademark. Patent would go into, if they are coming up with any certain new kind of shoe or new kind of footwear, where there is an invention which has not been made earlier, that would be a patent. That would be a subject of a patent. So this is something which is a trademark. Yeah. What about this? This is a famous painting. It's present in one of the museums in France. Yeah. So which form of IP it is? Copyright. Yeah. So it could be protected in a copyright. Yeah. Nice. What about this? This appears to be a pen drive and a keyring at the same time. Yeah, it could be a part of design. What about this one? Can someone identify which kind of sari this is? Any ladies would want to answer which kind of sari is this? Yeah, this is a GI. Thank you, Ashwin. South Banarasi. No, this is not Banarasi. Is this Banarasi? Yes, Ashwin, this is Kanjivaram. Ashwin knows saris. Yeah. Okay. So this, what is this type of IP?
Design, sir.
Design, yes. Yeah. Apurva, yes, it is design. And what about this Beetle car? Patent, yeah, there could be several patents for present in a car. It's a Volkswagen brand, yes. It's a German brand, yeah. It could be again a design thing. Mysore sandal soap. What do you think this kind of, what is this form of IP? Which form is this? GI, yes. And this appears to be some peda or laddu. Mathura peda, yes. So this is again a GI. Yeah, that was all my presentation and my imparting of some knowledge to you guys. I hope this session was valuable and all of you could get some understanding about the subject, attain some understanding about the subject and how intellectual property plays an important role in our lives and even important role when we become entrepreneurs